Hey guys, what's up? It's Victoria. So wanted to do a quick video on how to identify the new peaks. Hope you guys had a great day trading today. Had a question in a group about this. So I went ahead and marked up the Aussie dollar, and I didn't mark up the Aussie CAD, but we can talk about this too. Okay. So the first thing I do, guys, is of course we want to identify, or we want to make sure we understand the pattern. Okay. So we have our W, B, B, M, M, A, W. Right now, this is obviously super perfect, right? And it almost looks just like the Aussie dollar, right? So that's why I'm like, guys, don't worry about counting levels, worry about learning the pattern, because the levels are in the pattern and everything else would make sense after that. Okay, so I want you to notice this new peak actually started last Friday, this peak formation low, right? And what happened was price came up to the 200 and it did not break it. Okay, it came back and retested this area of support, which I marked this from H4. Okay, so it gave us, came back and retested this and gave us a nice W, right? So here is where is our official peak formation low retest, right? Because it retested this area of support. So you can now count your levels from here. And what I did, if you can see, now sometimes guys, you want to be mindful, right? Because I always talk about these levels here might be, you can probably see three of them clearly, like here. So we have our first push here, our second push here, and our third push right in here, right? We can count our levels that way. And we can also count the areas of consolidation. Okay. It's usually just two areas, right? Consolidation, because here you can't use your EMAs to count. Okay, you just can't use the EMAs to count levels. So that's why it's very important to have this imprinted, right? Have this somewhere to refer to. Again, this is perfect. Sometimes it's not going to be perfect like the Aussie dollar, right? But it is darn near going to be in there and you'll see it. And like I said, sometimes to you it might look like it's 4 levels, but usually it's 3. And when we have these big pushes like this, sometimes the third push could be hidden in here, but the market makers was nice to us. Sometimes these resets, they just play out nicely, and then you get your safety trade, beautifully. Like right here would be your safety trade right there. This would be your straightaway trade here, and then this is your 33 trade, right? So why is it called 33? Because it is 3 days, because this is 3 days of rise, 3 pushes up, right? 3, that's why it's called that. Okay, so so that is what you're looking for. Okay, once that happens, now we're in level 3. Okay, now we're totally in level 3 of price action. So level 3, right, which is up here, right, which I'm going to say this is where it broke. Okay. Somewhere right there. I don't know. I'm not good at drawing these boxes, but I know that we're in level 3 price action because price is at the high. So now we're waiting for it to break. We want it to break. So again, we know that the reversal is coming because we've had our 3 pushes up. You can also see the divergence here. So you can see you got your multi-session M building up here. You have your divergence here with the TDI. Okay. And yesterday, this thing crossed over, right? Crossed over, and I marked it here so you can see. So let me mark this here with, yeah. So that crossed over. So that's another important indication, Okay. Okay. So that happened yesterday, right? 1600. So once that crossed, then you know, okay, the next trading session, I'm looking for the entry to go down because now this is going to be a new peak, right? A one peak formation high. The other thing I did on here is I drew the order block box. It's a tongue twister right here. And this order block indicator also helps too, right? Kind of tells you, but if it's easier for you to see it that way, you could totally draw this thing by yourself here. Okay, you can draw the box and then you can wait for price to come back and retest it. Now, sometimes price will just completely drop out of the sky. And if you were not in front of the chart or if you didn't have an order set, then you missed the initial drop and sometimes it just falls, right? But we like it also when it retests because it's an ultimate confirmation and it will give you, some time to get in, right? So we have this beautiful pattern that's set up nicely on the left. So what we're looking for now is, once it retests, right, you can see, you can even use this as your, before you went to sleep, if you drew this box here, you could have said, okay, I want price to, I want to set my order around this area here, okay? Because this would be after, one, you're looking left and you're seeing all this price action over here. So okay, I want to go ahead and set my order here, right? You got the confirmation here at the TDI, you know that you're looking to go short and your order block here is, you're just waiting for that to get tested or whatnot, right? And then you can always make sure, take care of be mindful with your risk and have your stop loss if you're placing your order and you're going to sleep. But if you're available for this, guys, like I am not available for this, right? I hate that that I'm not available. It's just way too late for me. Excuse me. It will require me to stay up until midnight and then go to sleep for a few hours just to wake up, because I live in Pacific Standard Time. And it's very difficult, for me to stay up because I'm up. Then you just require you to be up, right? And that is very hard to do. If I was in Eastern Standard Time or even Central, I would totally wake up. Being up around 2 o'clock in the morning would be easy for me to catch these, and I would love to be in front of the chart. I put my orders in every now and then. I don't do it too often. I like to be in front of my chart, right? That's just my personality, right? But if your personality, you plan this out, you've tested it several times, and you feel confident that, okay, I totally know that this thing is going to fall the next day. I'm going to go ahead and plan my order and go to sleep. Then do that, right? I encourage you to do that, right? So, and this is how you would do it, totally, right? And if it fits your personality, then do it. Trade your personality. Not everybody's going to have the same journey as you, be able to understand this, as quick, right? Some people understand this quickly. Some people, it takes them years, right? You don't want to ever compare yourself to anyone. Everyone has their own journey, their own walk through this, right? And learning how to read chart and price action. So that's why I'm like, guys, pay attention to the pattern because the pattern is price action, okay? And always look left. Remember that cycle is very important because that is going to give you the clue that where you need to enter your trades and exit. All right, so I went ahead and highlighted some other areas here on where you could potentially enter the trade if you were manually entering this. And obviously we have the 13 and the 50 cross here. And this is H1. So let me drop down because we'll always say, once you figure out which way you're going, you've identified your areas of support and resistance, then you want to drop down and make your entries on M15. So really quickly before I do that, let's hop on to H4 because H4 is where I have this support and resistance or supply and demand indicator. I dropped it right here, the first one, because I knew this was a major area of support. Okay, because price has been here a couple of times already. I went ahead and identified the last two. Okay, so from here, I know that my first, and it's a Friday, right? So we know Fridays, we don't really want to hold trades, but identify the first area where we're going to take profits. And then this area right here, like I always say, the psychological lines, right? Let me highlight these for you. There's my pen. Here we go. So remember, the psychological lines draw on Monday, okay? Or rather, it's actually Sunday for the most of us here in the US, because, everybody else, it's a new day for them, it's Monday. But the psychological lines automatically draw and print on your chart, okay? So this is another good area to take your profits if that's the first thing that's coming, all right? It's a perfect area for that. And then, of course, here, another area right here, of course, this is the psychological, guys. Remember, that's price action. That is your weekly high and low, because it's when Asia opened, right? It's Asia's high, right? And Asia's low price. And that is going to be your area of psychological support and resistance for the week, right? So when price comes back here, it's going to be an order block. You just know it is. You just have to wait for it to break, right? So so now let's hop on to M15. I'm gonna go ahead and clear this. So we already know our direction. So let's go down to M15. And here is where you would most likely do your execution of your trades. Okay. Push this down. Some adjustments. Okay. Everything worked out. So push, consolidate, and then push. Then we have our first M, and then we have our second M, which I believe this is what they call the anchor, right? And you see my order box is drawn, from H1 is still here. So here's where you would want to make your entry. And look, on H1, this was the 13 and 50 cross right here. On M15, your 13 and 50 cross is tighter, right? It's right there. So if you are available for that, right? If this is the time that you come to the chart, 11:15. So whatever time that is, because this chart obviously is a different time zone than what the actual time zone is, okay? So whatever time that you come to the chart, if that's when you're available, then absolutely you're going to take the trade manually, right? If you're not going to be available for that trade and you want to set it up for the next day, then absolutely do that, okay? Take that off so we can see things clearly. All right, absolutely do that. You have your areas here, these order blocks here for your, again, another clue to help you to identify that this is the order block. I wanted to retest it. And once it retests it, then I'm entering, right? And it did just that. And it gave you the second leg. So obviously that is your entry right there, right? This is your second leg, and then you'll just take that. Okay. Go ahead and delete that. So now for your exit, you have a couple of options here, right, on the M15, right? Now, you could, again, this is another area here that I like to, so if you were able to get in here pretty early, right, then you could use the ADR high and low as your first exit, or you can go to, if I see this 800 here, I'm taking the 800. That'll be where I'm going, right, for the first one. And then the second one would be the psychological, right? And the third one will be right here. That's if you're doing 3, right? So those are your options, okay? So those are your options for exit. So right here, which it did, take that. And then of course we have the psychological, and then of course the final one here, okay? So you can ride this out until close to the close of the trading day. And again, it is Friday, so you do want to be mindful. You would want to go ahead and just exit this trade with your awesome profits and enjoy the weekend, right? And then come back Sunday, Monday, a fresh chart, fresh everything, right? Money in your pockets, pips in your pocket, right? So that is how, ladies and gentlemen, you identify when your trend is about to change, how to mark up your areas, right? For where you're going to mark up your support, your supply and demand, support and resistance, right? Mark up your 3 pushes so you can have an idea, okay, it's about to go down, right? And then plan your entry and plan your exit. And that is it. This is a very nice, beautiful, clear patterns. And that's what I like. You don't want to be sitting here trying to figure out what's going on in what pair or whatever. Find a pair that's clear. Okay, so now let's look real quickly at the Aussie CAD. This is a reset, guys, because this was technically supposed to be a peak formation one. So yesterday I was marking this and I was like, well, if it doesn't break, right, if it doesn't come up here and break this 200, then we're still going down, right? We're going to come down here and just plan on a going another 380 AUD down, which I forgot to mention on here. For those of you who don't have the 380 AUD indicator, you would want to go ahead and let me draw that real quick. I'm just going to use this, right? Use this as my my measurement tool. Oops. Do that. Let me refresh it real quick, make sure it comes back. Okay. Using this as my tool. So this is saying about 50. This is good right here. It's good for me. So I'm going to put this up here. And again, this is an average, right? It's never going to be perfect because ADR fluctuates a little bit. Okay. So this is your ADR. And lo and behold, by the time it comes back down here, guys, the 380R should be complete. So I will be very interested to seeing if this is going to even come down here again. I don't know, right? Let's see if it's going to break this. But what's really interesting is this area here. Look, prices came here. I'm going to count this as 1, 2, and 3 because this is where we got. It's almost like 4 pushes if you count that, but I would prefer to count this as the 1, and then this is the 2, and this is the 3. So 3 taps to the low, 3 taps to the high. That's another clue, right? So with that being said, are they going to break the 4th touch, right? I don't know, but it looks like the ADR might be done, or it might retest, or it might break it. I don't know, right? But that is how you do it. That is it right there. So let's go back to the Aussie CAD. And here I started to identify my areas. So I got my, let me do this one up here. Major resistance, major support levels. This looks like it's still going down for a little bit, but it's definitely looked like it's going to be a bull market. Hasn't confirmed yet, but we're going to wait and see, right? We're going to wait and see. So now those areas have been identified. And then now you can come here and add your ADR. I'm going to add it right here. This was a reset, guys. So you can see price bounced off of the 200. Okay. There we go. So these are the areas, right? So you can see I marked this price already went there. Okay. And this is retesting this order block here again. So we're expecting this thing to come down here. Now, I've also said that sometimes with the resets, sometimes it doesn't give us the whole 3 ADR. It might give us 2.5 or something like that. But just have it on there anyway, guys, as your guide, and then mark your areas where you have your major SNR from H4. So let's drop down to M15. All right. So here at M15, if I can get this a little bit big again, our entry, let me see here. Our entry was also right here, and this is the AUDCAD. So these things move pretty early. Like I said, I'm asleep, right? I am not catching that. Right. So for me, it would behoove me to get in on this and set it, right? Let me draw, I forgot my order box. Draw that for you all. I'm doing all this stuff here manually because I want you to be able to see how to do it manually, right? That's what you want to do. So this area would have been the order block area. And again, we want for price, it's always good to have price retest that area, right? And then we can set our target to enter right underneath it, right? Wherever your box was, or using an area, price area, like here would have been good with the support and resist, the psychological support and resistance area would have been good right there. Okay, so see, check it out. Go. This was the entry right here. You can see price tested this out nicely. And now we're ready to drop. And it almost darn near lines up with the TDI. Okay. All right. So I didn't count this one. I wanted to show it to you. It's a little different because I did not sit up here and count 3 levels up or down. I literally just looked at this one and I saw that price had reset off of the 200. So I already knew we're going down, right? Because yesterday before I went to sleep, I looked at this and I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe it might come back up here, because sometimes it does, right? Sometimes it'll pin the 200, it'll come back down, play a little bit, and then it'll break it. And then sometimes it pins the 200 twice and it falls, right? So I wasn't really sure what it was going to do yesterday, when I was glancing at it. But when I got here to the chart this morning, I was like, oh, it's confirmed. Okay, this is totally going down today. So we're totally have an opportunity to take this trade. And I wrote second tap here. I want to jump over to the H4 on why I did it, because that's where I identified that price had been there before. Okay. This was easy to see. So I counted that as the first tap to this price area, and then this will be the second tap. So I'm expecting when price comes back down to either one of these areas, whether it's this one up here, most likely it'll be down here in the middle. I'm expecting prices to shoot back up, go long. Okay. So that's how I use H4. That's why I mark it, right? And that's it, really. Right? We don't want to overcomplicate, trading, right? We just don't, because the more confused you are, you're not going to do anything, or you might be in here chasing a candle or something, right? So we don't want that. We want you to be strategic in your entries, right? And we want you to be mindful of the pattern and what price is telling you, and understanding how to mark this stuff manually, because that's how you're going to learn it, right? So I hope you guys are taking notes of your trades each day. We have the trading journal, which I have these patterns in there and everything to kind of help remind you. So it's really up to you to do your homework, Write down what happened, which pairs that you're watching. Try not to watch too many pairs because it can be overwhelming, and then you'll be missing trades, and you won't be a happy trader. All right. So guys, have a happy Friday, great weekend, and we will see you in the next video.